to stay put or to sell up? The latest house price figures are in, and Helen O'Sullivan from Valocity, the CEO of real estate, is with me this morning. Helen, good morning.
Good morning.
So what are we looking at? What are the numbers telling us?
Well, the numbers are telling us is that the changes in interest rates haven't yet flowed through to any increases in price. But the thing about the housing market is that while price is the headline that everybody focuses on, the volumes are a really important indicator, and they're probably a lead indicator. We are starting to see volumes increase. They're as much as 10% up year on year, and again, because the housing market is so seasonal, the focus is really on how it is compared to this time last year, as opposed to changes month on month. So we're seeing those volumes start to increase at 10% up year on year. Mortgage registrations from new buyers is 22% up, which is a huge lift, but price is still pretty much what we call in the trade flat.
Yeah, because there's more supply, presumably, keeping prices suppressed?
There is still plenty of supply, yep, that's right. And if you think back to those, macroeconomic lessons from third form, supply and demand are the, what fixes price. But I think the positive is that we're starting to see those volumes lift up from very low levels and actually start to increase for the first time in a while.
Okay, interesting. Now, largest decliners, we won't be surprised, Wellington?
Yeah, we're down about 1.4% since the start of the year.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it could be.
It's not. In context, these are reasonably modest movements. I would call them primarily, I call the trend flat at this point in time because, measurements at that sort of level, 1.4% over, you tend to hold a home for a lot longer than 3 months. So those sort of 3 to 6 month movements are pretty much irrelevant.
And in terms of gainers, Arrowtown from Queenstown Lakes, average property value increasing $178,000.
Yeah, it is its own little microclimate, that one.
Yeah, and it seems to be popping off. It just
yeah,
doesn't
and look,
stop.
again, the supply and demand equation comes into effect there. There is almost no new supply available in that market, given its geographic constraints. And so, any type of increase in demand does tend to lead almost directly to increased prices.
And what about the latest listings sales that we're hearing about?
The listings flow has started to slow down, so the higher levels of sales are starting to reduce the stock overhang that there has been on the market. I think over time we will see that supply get eaten away by the increased sales, and that is when we might start to see some kind of upwards pressure on prices, but I think it will remain modest for now.
Now, my favourite part is show and tell, of course, and you've got one for us this morning. This is a fairy tale manor built with thousands of hand-washed bricks that's currently for sale. Tell us about this.
Isn't it a cracker? So this has actually been created. The bricks were recovered from the brickworks,
wow.
which is, isn't it gorgeous?
Beautiful.
And warm and toasty. I'm a huge fan of brick as a construction medium, and then I think in this expression it is, they've really excelled themselves.
They have.
Here.
Where is this?
This is down in Christchurch.
Beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous? And some, so real heritage, really lovely backstory, delightfully warm and toasty, and on the market now.